A cucking stool, also known as a ducking stool, scolding stool, or a stool of repentance, was a chair used as a method of law enforcement to punish disorderly women through humiliation and censure. The punishment was given to scolds, which was someone who disturbed the peace by habitually chastising, arguing, and quarrelling with their neighbours, to backbiters, which meant that they spoke badly about someone behind their back, and less often it was used to punish sexual offences, such as bearing an illegitimate child or prostitution. This technique was used in both Europe and in the English colonies of North America. Thought to have originated with the Anglo-Saxons, the term cucking stool is known to have been in use from around 1215. It has been popularly believed that the name comes from the word cuckold, however this is not the case. The name literally translates to defecation chair, which is derived from the Middle English word cucken. By 1597, the name ducking stool began being used more specifically for those cucking stools on an oscillating plank which were used to duck the person into water. Duck meaning to thrust something underwater, similar to dunk. The cucking stool was in most cases a commode or toilet, hence the name meaning defecation chair. The chair was placed in public view. The woman would be stripped to her smock or undergarments, her head and feet bare, and forced to sit down. She was then restrained and may be wheeled around the village, raised into the air, or pelted with objects from the crowd. The ducking stool was a more severe punishment than the cucking stool. The offender was seated in a hardwood chair, and an iron band was placed around her so that she did not fall out. Usually the chair was fastened to a long wooden beam like a seesaw, and situated next to a pond or river. From here, she would be repeatedly ducked into the water. When sentencing a woman, the magistrates ordered the number of duckings that she should have. Repeated duckings often proved fatal, with the victim dying of shock from the freezing water or drowning. Sometimes the ducking stool was not a fixture, but was mounted on a pair of wooden wheels so that it could be wheeled through the streets, and once it arrived at the river's edge, it would be hung by a chain from the end of a beam. This was similar to another version of the chair, the tumbrel, which had two wheels along with two shafts fixed to the axles. When pushed into the pond, the shafts would tip the chair backwards, often drowning the victim. In medieval times, until the early 18th century, ducking was a way to establish whether a suspect was a witch, but the ducking was later inflicted without the chair. To duck someone without the stool meant that the subject's right thumb was bound to her left big toe. A rope was then tied around her waist, and she was thrown into the river or pond. If she floated, it was said that she was in league with the devil, as she was rejecting the baptismal water. But if she sank, she was cleared of not being a witch. However, she was also likely dead. The last recorded case of a cucking stool being used was in the case of Sarah Leake in 1817. During her punishment, the water in the pond was so low that she couldn't be dunked, and was instead wheeled around the town in the chair.